on Man United, another win. United's form is looking very good at the moment, as you can see. 5 wins on the bounce in the Prem. Only the second time that's been done since Sir Alex Ferguson left the club a decade ago, and 9 wins on the bounce is a record since Fergie retired. Rashford, as we know, he just equaled Dennis Vilas's home goal scoring record of 9 home games on the bounce, which has stood since the late 1950s. He's in phenomenal form. Surely United now, I mean, where do you see United? Title contenders or like one of the favorites for the top 4? What are we saying?
Welcome to the title race. You guys are here. If City are in the title race, you're in the title race. Welcome. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's all about what United fans say, but really, as a gal said, you should be in the title race. There's no excuse as to why you're not. And I feel like you should start to put your pressure on your team, that you expect yourself to start to, if not obviously win the title, but start to push on to Arsenal and cause them some pressure. Because at the end of the day, as the gal said, you're 1 point off City. If you beat Arsenal this weekend, you close the gap to what, 6 points. So you'll have a pretty good gap on them. There's no excuse as to why you can't put the pressure on. So you're in the title race now, Terry, man.
Look, I mean, I said it on my match reaction. If I got to speak to the players, I would say I want you to consider yourselves in a title race. I want to see how they react. I want to see what the pressure does. Does it create a diamond like Arsenal this season, or does it burst pipes like Tottenham? Like, what does it do to them in terms of that pressure? And I think it needs to be put upon them to see where they are. I think you can be in the title race without being the favourites, because we're definitely behind City and we're definitely behind Arsenal. But I'm just proud of the progression of the team. There's a lot of people, as you saw in the intro, Jermaine Pennant being one of the mouthpieces on Talk Sport, that that run of 8 games as it were, meant nothing. They were disregarding how well we played against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which has been a horrible place for us over the years. How we played against Tottenham, the fact that we've beaten Arsenal this year, that was all disregarded, which I thought was a little bit disrespectful by the media. So for United to show up the way they did against City and to come back from behind, I think lays down a marker. But this week's massive. With Crystal Palace Wednesday night, followed by Arsenal, we need to try and walk away with that with a minimum, 3 to 4 points for us to, I think, to mathematically maintain ourselves in this supposed title race. But if it goes well and you walk away with more points than that, which isn't inconceivable, the league just takes a whole new turn again. And I think we also, as United fans, need to wait and see what Weghorst is like for us, because most people aren't expecting very much, but you never know. You never know in football. We've all signed. It was only last year when Spurs signed Bentancur and Kulusevski. The world of football laughed and said, "Are you buying some rejects from Juve? What are they going to do for you?" And look how good they've been, especially Kulusevski and Bentancur. Really, now Arsenal were laughed at for going after Odegaard. He was, he's a reject who nobody wanted. Why are you buying a relegation-ridden goalkeeper? How dare you waste £50 million on Ben White? You never quite know how transfers are going to work out. Equally, he could be dog shit, and it could really fall apart for us. So, yeah, look, it's interesting for Man United now. I think they're in a good space, playing well, and look, I think we'll definitely make the top 4 now. I will say that I think Man United will make the top 4. We're better than Tottenham. We're better than Liverpool. We're better than Chelsea. And look, Newcastle are a really good team as well. But there's everybody below us. We are better to much better than as it stands right now. And everybody else needs a dramatic improvement. And I think Spurs could be 8 points off the top 4 or 8 points off Man United by when we all go to sleep on Wednesday. So that's a long way to come back, especially with Tottenham's form, which I'm sure we're going to get onto later. This comment here from Michael says, "Love the show as always. It's like rewinding back 20 years with Arsenal and Man United competing." And this is hate. So obvious. Can't wait for the North London derby segment. So stay with us, Michael. That's certainly coming. I listen. Arsenal fans are definitely starting to pipe up a bit more about Man United at the minute. I'm seeing it all over my timeline. Whenever I tweet something positive about United, it's Arsenal fans responding. That's it. No one else. It's just Arsenal fans. Oh, by the way, all the Spurs trolls that were like coming for me 2 or 3 months ago, they don't tweet me at all anymore. None of them. They're all gone. they've all disappeared. They've probably boycotted me now. That's what's happened, I think. But there we go. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed. Quickly on Rashford. How good is he right now? What we saying?
Best winger in the league.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now he is. He has to be.
He is.
Can't disagree.
I mean,
Isn't
I
it?
guess we can say it off of 1 month's form, but I mean, what makes you a great player is consistency. So we need to see that until the end of the season, because that's something that's plagued him throughout his whole career. Is Rashford has spells and then he disappears for many spells. So if he can keep this up till the end of the season, then 100% he's having a top year and he's going to be carrying Man United's top for himself. But let's see the consistency first.
But it was right now, though, isn't it? Terry said right now. Right now, he is. I get that. It's something that you can hit any player with because players go in and out of form. But right now, he's up there. There's no doubt.
But then
If not the
does
best.
right now count as just the form, his past month form? Or are
Yeah,
you talking about this season?
I would look at it as you could look at it as a bit of both. He actually has been playing quite well for Man United this season. It just took him time for the goals and assists to come. But if you actually go back, no one was good in the first 2 games, granted. But since United have been on the rise, he's been a pivotal part of those teams, and he was kind of missing some good chances in games, but he was influential. And we've just seen, again, I would assume I've watched more Man United than all of you. His form's just got better and better. And in the last sort of 3 weeks before the World Cup, the goals and assists started to come. You saw that in the World Cup, and Southgate made a massive blunder against France, not starting Saka on the right and Rashford on the left. We're through to the next round of the World Cup because the form has continued from Rashford, and no player in the world has scored more goals than him since the World Cup. So yeah, like right now, I think he's performing at a world-class level. But I agree with you, George. Like, this has got to be maintained. But what's really harsh on Rashford, he had that 1 year where he was injured and the club had problems where he had a bad year. The previous 2 seasons before that, he was pushing on 40 GA 2 seasons running as a 22 and 23-year-old. He had a bad year along with the whole club, and now he's back to that level. So if 3 out of 4 years you're in the top 3 performing left wingers in European football, in the big leagues I'm talking, that's world-class levels for me. But I agree, the consistency's got to remain. Definitely. What are you saying, Gal? I saw you not like shaking your head when Patrick said best in the league right now.
He's performing like one of the best in the league. I'm not gonna lie, but when it comes down to it, he's literally Manchester United. Everything. He's your talisman. He's everything for you guys. Anything happens to him, your form dips with him. He's the antithesis of what you guys are doing right now. And it's not a knock on him. I'm not insulting Man United at all. I'm just showing how much he has grown this past year. And if you're saying this is who he is and this is who he can maintain to be, then you guys are going to have a great season. And it's going to be a lot of pressure on him for the rest of the season to maintain this level.
Yeah, look, I would say with Man United, don't discount what Casemiro has done to us. Don't discount Varane and his performances as an example. If you look at, the team isn't just the guy that's scoring you your goals or your chief creator. It's everybody around them. As an Arsenal fan, Odegaard has been amazing, best attacking midfielder in the league this year. But if he didn't have Partey and Xhaka behind him, would he perform as well? Maybe
Who's
not.
your talisman, though? Is it not Rashford?
Well, Rashford's our primary match winner. I would say Man United's talisman is Bruno Fernandes. He's our leader. He is massively important. The most influential player and the game changer so far this season for Man United has been Casemiro, because he controls our midfield. And we haven't been able to control a midfield since Paul Scholes and Michael Carrick were here together. And that was 10 years ago. So those 3 players, along with Varane and Lissandro, who has been briefly replaced by Luke Shaw, if I'd have said to you guys a week ago even, Luke Shaw is going to pocket at Haaland, you lot would have had me sectioned, definitely. I'd have been sectioned. Like, nobody, that's not even me like trying to big up my club. When Jess will tell you, on Saturday, the team lineups came out, and I was quite confident before the game. And then I saw him at centre back, and I went floppy, bruv. Like it was gone. Man needed Viagra. I was finished. I was finished. I was like, oh no. But he pocketed him. And it was that little header right at the end of the game. I don't know if you saw it. It came across. Haaland was at the back post, and Shaw got to it before him. And I was like, yes, man, boobs. Yes. It was great.
Terry, I've got a question quickly.
What
do you think? What do you think's been the biggest change, like attacking wise, for Manchester United, and why Rashford is doing well? Because obviously, I don't watch United as much as I would do Liverpool or whatever, but he seems to have been revitalized. Is it just the new manager? Is he playing a different role? I know he's playing off the left and he's wanted to play down the center a couple of times, but what's been the biggest difference under Ten Hag from your opinion?
I think first of all, it's the most important bit. There's structure in terms of the way the team plays. There is discipline. The team work hard. There is a shape that everybody can see, which is more important than more important than all the fancy stuff everybody talks about. The tacticos write about every day on Twitter. The hard work's there, but that's been built upon the discipline and the culture that the managers very quickly created in that dressing room, and dropping Maguire as an example, dropping Rashford in the early part of the season because he was underperforming. Telling Rashford in the summer, I want you to stay. I think you're one of the best talents in the world, but you ain't getting a new deal until you get back to your form of 2 years ago. Then we can. Until then, we're not discussing a new contract. The fact that he got rid of Ronaldo the way he did, the fact that he's picking Luke Shaw over Maguire, and it's working. There is a great feeling at the club at the moment, and it's been transformed very quickly. And then Rashford is feeling 100% fresh, and the manager's got his back. And you add all those things together, and Rashford's just performing at the level that I knew he was capable of. And I saw him do for the 2 years prior to that really poor season that he had. And look, I thought he was going to go off injured on Saturday, and I bet he got an injection at halftime, 100%. They'd have tested him, they'd have made sure there's nothing massively wrong, but he'd have taken an injection. And that element of Rashford is very, very key. But the team is just different now. The team's different, and the turnaround's been a lot quicker than I expected it to be. However, I want their feet firmly on the ground. I don't want them kind of getting ahead of themselves and getting giddy and getting overconfident and complacent, because that isn't right. But Rashford as an individual within this team should be so proud of himself, because this is what he's always been capable of. He's come through turmoil to get here. You know, the amount of abuse this man's taken, the most abused athlete in the world, second most behind Cristiano Ronaldo, 3 years running up until, I haven't seen the latest stats. Gimme Sport always put an article out there. And, he's flying right now. So it's a multitude of things: fitness, the feel-good factor, a proper system around him. And Ten Hag has fixed the culture at the club, and that was key. And I have to say, I don't like praising them, but I thank the Glazers and the board for allowing the managers to do that. He's the first manager since Fergie where they've given him complete control of that dressing room and allowed him to discipline and move things forward. So, yeah, for me, it's crazy. When I said most abused, I think I'm talking footballers, not overall athletes. If I said athletes, I apologize. But Rashford's right up there. The articles are there. Just Google it. You don't need to outside of that. But there we go.